entertainmentbuddha.com.
Dun, da, 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 dun, da, da. Da, 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 wah, 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 da, 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 wah, 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 da, 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 wah, 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 wah. Welcome to a brand new, spanking new, that is, episode of the Star Wars Time Show. It feels like it's been months since the last time Nick and I threw on our Rebel pilot helmets and talked about that galaxy from so far, far away that we love to talk about incessantly. So, it really hasn't been that long, right, Nick? It just... Last week we had one of our old double uppers.
Yeah,
because we had a new solo trailer, and we had our previous week's episode to get out. So, and then after we did the solo trailer, there wasn't really much to talk about. So we took last Friday off, but we're back now on 420 to talk some Star Wars, and we actually have more than a few things to talk about.
Yeah, we got a little bit of episode 9 news. We got some solo news. We got a couple of new solo TV spots. So, I mean...
Jesus, man. That solo, it's like... we were questioning if the movie even existed back at the end of 2017 and even up through January, right? And then we had the Super Bowl blasts, and it was like, bam, 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 bam. They punch us with a ton of solo, and then... From February up until April, nothing. And then early April, we got the plot trailer. And then this week, we got 2 pretty heavy and new scene featuring TV spots. So it's on, my friends. I mean, Solo is finally hitting its promotional marketing machine stride.
Yeah, I mean, like you said, we're on 420 now. The movie releases 5/25, so we're a little bit over a month away. I mean, but it's kicking up. Like you said, TV spots are rolling out, interviews.
And they're legit TV spots. I mean, we're talking like 30, 45 seconders.
Yeah. I mean, they got some meat to the bone to them. And I mean, even as much as to show us some scenes that we haven't seen yet, giving us some insight into how characters meet and possibly the relationship, how they develop between these, some of the new characters and some of the old. So there's a lot of good stuff in there. You also have people out on the interview circuit now, Alden, and obviously we've got people talking to Ron Howard about his involvement with the film.
Speaking of Alden, he's got a pretty manly, hairy chest, huh?
Dude, he's
like those few shots you got, like it almost seems like they had to shave that bitch down.
He's rocking the hamburger meat. But
did Harrison? I can't remember. Didn't he have some hair poking through his white shirt and black vest?
It was the 70s. I'm sure he did.
Right, right.
I think so. I wouldn't doubt it. I mean,
but it almost looks like a little vagina they shaved in the Alden, right? Like I'm referring to the comic book movie images. Not that we're gonna talk about that right now, but it does. It looks like a little fucking vagina triangle.
Yeah,
they totally does, dude. I mean, he's got vagina chest.
He's got some, he's got a little bit of weird hair options going on right there.
Han Vag Solo.
Yeah, dude. If you just go back and watch some of the A New Hope, when Han's lounging on the Falcon.
Yeah, I almost promise he's got some.
He's got like three buttons open on the shirt, and it's definitely not hiding anything. Like he's got that bitch open, and he's not. It's not as much grizzle as Alden was rocking, but I mean he definitely had some chest hairs poking out.
Dude, look at that! Oh my god! Hell yeah! It's not as thick. You're right. It's not as thick, but yeah, you're right. I mean, he's essentially, if he was a girl, his whole tit would be hanging out.
Yeah, like he would have some.
That's how far down he wore his shirt.
Like,
look at that shit. Look at.
I mean, we're talking...
I've never noticed that. I mean, that's fucking John Travolta.
Yeah, we're talking like 4 buttons deep.
This is Saturday Night Fever shit.
Yeah, they're holding nothing back.
Oh, yeah. No, okay. Well, that's perfect. They nailed it. I mean, they nailed it. Yeah, Han definitely has a beaver chest.
Yeah, so we got a
wow, that is fantastic.
Ton of
I mean, I feel like we stumbled upon something big here.
Yeah, I mean, Han is definitely, are we going to get to see
He's a fucking man.
Are we going to get to see these wardrobe choices come to life? Because, I mean,
dude, I'm almost questioning now, is that Alden's real hair?
I mean,
or did they have to like sub that shit in to match what Harrison was sporting?
I mean, because he looks like he's a pretty, young looking dude. He doesn't.
What are those things they call fake vagina hair?
Merkins.
Yeah. Can a dude have a chest merkin?
I'm sure they could get some glue and stick it on there.
I love this. Like, I almost feel like we need an animated series based on Han's vagina chest hair.
Yeah. So I mean. Now,
all right. Well, we'll get back to Solo. Yeah, we'll get back to Solo because there are more than a few interesting things to talk about, especially because we got 2 brand new TV spots. But first, we have some Episode 9 confirmed news as well as some rumors. So let's go ahead and just start with the confirmed stuff because it's pretty cool. I mean, it's big for a Star Wars movie. Actually, it's historic, to be honest with you, and that's a fact that we're going to have the first female, I think just female in general, but a female minority directing a Star Wars movie, and that is going to be Victoria Mahoney, who's going to be the second unit director on Star Wars Episode 9.
Yeah, it's huge news. I mean, one of the first things to come out after the kind of completion and I guess you would say the media completion of Episode 8 was, Ava DuVernay and other filmmakers coming out and saying like, yeah, that movie was great. It was really well made. What Star Wars really needs is a female or a black female in the director's chair. So it might not exactly be, what they were looking for, but having somebody like Victoria Mahoney taking the second unit director's chair next to J.J. Abrams for this film is definitely
it's a good
huge
step.
Yeah.
I mean, it's a good step. Let's be honest here. And I get some of the inequalities in Hollywood because it's so glaring. I mean, it really is. I mean, what is that? Rachel Evan Wood, whoever plays Dolores on Westworld, is only going to get the same amount of money as the men in season 3.
Yeah. I mean,
and she's the fucking star?
Yeah, she is literally.
So, I mean, I know there are people out there, especially men, not people, that honestly don't still understand this. So sorry for you fucking Neanderthals, but this is a problem, not just in Hollywood, but in all of society. I mean, women literally are at a disadvantage in terms of pay for equal representation in terms of work. So yeah, I'm all about these types of movements, okay? But I'm also all about holding people accountable. So, I mean, if and I'm not saying Victoria is going to do anything wrong as second unit director. And again, she's second unit director. I think people that may not understand how Hollywood works, I mean, on movies of this size, it's never just one guy or girl directing the entire film.
Yeah, I mean, JJ doesn't have time to do the pan shots, the environmental, overview shots and stuff like that. So even a lot of the shots with secondary characters.
Well, dude, stunts, action moments. Yeah. A lot of times that's not the main director. I mean, the main director in movies of this size and scale and scope, and I'm just using the same fucking adjective over and over, but they are focused on the character moments and obviously providing the overall direction. It's not like these second unit directors are having massive input into how these scenes are executed. They are executing the vision of the director.
Yeah, exactly. But
it's a huge credit. I mean, one of my best friends is approaching that territory now with big projects. I mean, he's the Tag movie coming out with Jeremy Renner. I mean, he was stunt coordinator on that, but he also is going to get a second unit credit, and that's massive.
Yeah,
because that leads into directors' jobs, which is great because now we have a person like Victoria Mahoney going through this on a huge movie, and obviously the movie's going to do well, and she's going to do great. I mean, I'm not doubting that at all. I don't think this is just, hey, we're checking a box for HR. I think this is genuine. And there's a great chance this could lead to her getting her own gig or more jobs as second unit to build up the resume. So I'm all for it.
Yeah, definitely a good move. I mean, for the people out there who think this is no big deal, can you try to imagine Star Wars without shots like the initial shot of Tatooine when the droids first come out and land on there, or set up shots outside of Jabba's palace, or the opening shots around Cloud City and stuff like that. These kind of setup shots and then even stunt work where we see like possibly some of the fight scenes on Jabba's pleasure barge, stuff like that. If those shots weren't there, Star Wars wouldn't be what we know it to be. And a lot of these shots weren't done by the head honcho director like a George Lucas or JJ or Rian Johnson, something like that. It's usually done by first unit, second unit directors. So these people aren't just there to fill chairs. They're there to do important jobs on these movies. So pretty cool news. I'm definitely down for it.
I'm playing with my Han Solo action figure right now. I'm not kidding.
Is his shirt open? Does he have? Is he sporting?
That's exactly what I was looking for, but no. And this is the Black Series Han from the new Solo movie, and his shirt actually goes all the way up to his neck.
Whoa!
And there's definitely no hair popping out.
Yeah, I think you should. You got to write a note in about that. Be like, come on.
He's
guys.
pretty flexible. Like his knees have some pretty good bend to it. I think he's going to be a good subject. Man, dude, I the one thing we didn't catch up on because we didn't talk last Friday, but last Friday was unofficially, which was kind of sad. I don't know, it was just the whole aura surrounding Solo or whatever, but last Friday, which would have been the 13th, I mean, that was the official kickoff of Solo toys at retail. So for someone like me, that's a semi-holiday.
Yeah, I saw the post.
Yeah, I was fortunate enough to get a good part of the day to just go out and just do some good old-fashioned toy hunting, not screwing around with online. And, man, I just love that. I love driving around the town searching for toys, and then when you actually find some of them, I mean, there's no better feeling. I mean, any toy collector knows what I'm talking about.
There you go.
It's fantastic, especially when it's Star Wars stuff, so... Anyways, that was fun, but I thought this was it's a cool announcement. I'm not someone that's going to say that this lady's getting it just because of who she is. I think she's someone that's probably has earned it, and I think it's a great thing, and I honestly think she'll do a fine job.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, to say if people are out there saying like, oh, she only got it because of her name or because she's black,
there's
like
people out there, probably not that many, but there's someone out there. I mean, you just look at all the trolls now. Literally, there's people that took time out of their lives to delete all female segments in The Last Jedi.
Yeah, it's ridiculous. I mean, one
like that's the country we live in.
Yeah, I mean, have your issues with the movie, but I mean, don't be a fucking idiot, okay? I mean. I just don't understand that. I mean, this is only news because, there were people out there who were calling for it. There were people.
You've hit on a great point. You are exactly right, and that's why it's so sad.
Yeah, I mean, people.
This is newsworthy because it's new.
Yeah. I mean, and here's the fact of the matter is that, like, even if Ava DuVernay or other people out there who are influential in Hollywood weren't out there, like calling for it, it probably would have happened anyway. I don't think that like JJ or Kathleen or anybody felt pressured into putting Victoria or anybody else, another female or another.
I agree, but I think
in this spot.
I think you'll agree with me too, but the events of 2017, especially the way they affected Hollywood, I do think that probably caused more like, hey, nudges.
Yeah.
Like if you're considering candidates, maybe we should go this way. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because let's be honest. I mean, 2017 was a bomb was dropped on Hollywood.
Yeah, there was
a good bomb. I mean, it was a needed bomb. It was both for all the sexual harassment shit, but just also the inequality of pay.
Yeah, inequality of pay, inequality of opportunity. So I mean, it definitely helped. I mean, you're right, but I guess what my point was is I don't think that Kathleen or JJ or anybody else who's helping to put together these Star Wars movies would do anything to possibly degrade the quality of the film just to, like you said, like check off a box or like appease anybody who's out there, stomping their foot or doing anything like that. They made this decision because they felt like Victoria would be the best candidate for this job, and that she would be able to bring what fans have always wanted out of Star Wars to life. So I think that's
not what Rian Johnson wanted. I was just answering that for Nick because I know he's about ready to scream that.
Rian Johnson is... We'll get to it. No. Well, our next little piece is on episode 9. Matt had to talk me off a cliff before the cast. Think I've probably come down a little bit. But
I mean, let's be honest. There was a bit of that, but even when you first shared this with me, I mean, my first reaction was... I think this would be kind of weird considering what we know about what has happened so far with these characters.
Exactly. So,
like, I'm with you, man. I'm not saying this is ideal, but I'm also saying we're 2 years away, and who the fuck knows?
Yeah. So the piece of news that we're talking about is, of course, a rumor.
Spoiler alert for episode 9, just in case you guys are weird.
Yeah, I mean, if you absolutely don't want to know anything, then like. Spoiler.
Yeah, take a few minutes off.
Yeah, but essentially what the rumor is that Yoda will be returning to episode 9 to act as Rey's Force mentor.
Oh, you know what, dude? I may have to retract all my statements. I just read the quote. And for some reason now it makes sense to me. If this happens. Go ahead.
Yeah, so the quote, I mean, this is according to the New York Daily News. It says Yoda will again appear as a ghost as he acknowledges Rey's success and growth as a Jedi.
That's the key that I did not for some reason decipher.
Yeah, as growth as a Jedi.
It now makes sense to me how they could use Yoda.
Yeah.
That makes complete sense to me now.
Yeah, the scenes are...
I'm about 80%, 90% less angry.
Yeah, I mean, I can see...
Right? Do you not agree a little bit?
I can see
after you read that now?
I can see it. I can definitely see it being
For
there.
some reason, I completely glossed over that fact. I basically Americaned it. Because we've excelled recently these past 2 years at basically making up our own facts.
Yeah, I mean, you read the headline and you kind of...
Yeah, I completely did it.
Yeah, so... I mean,
I even read the fucking thing and I didn't even pick up on that.
Yeah, I mean, it's definitely a big thing, like a big part of it, what his role is going to be. But like you said, we're 2 years out. I mean, who the fuck knows if this is real or not?
Well, I mean, let's explain why we are so angry. I mean, especially Nick. I mean, I definitely agree that this probably... But I was thinking, honestly, that Yoda was just kind of going to show up and be talking to Rey.
Yeah, exactly.
And I was like, well, why wouldn't Luke be doing that?
Yeah, I mean...
Because who's Yoda to Rey?
Yeah, Yoda...
Outside of... What was my stipulation was... Outside of, we know that she has read the Jedi books now and has probably learned about Yoda, and we're like years beyond episode 8.
Yeah, exactly.
But now that I actually read the statement, I'm like, well, yeah, this makes complete sense.
Yeah. I definitely don't want to see it as like a mentor role like Ben played to Luke in episodes 5 and 6.
I mean, I think if it plays out as this statement says, Yoda will again appear as a ghost as he acknowledges Rey's success and growth. So he's basically going to show up and be like, hey, Rey, you're fucking doing great.
Yeah. I mean, if that's...
High five. I'm out. Keep it up.
If that's the extent of the role and it's not as a guide or something like that, then I'm down with it. But if
it's almost like he's coming back to say, like, well... You finally figured it out, unlike the rest of us for the past, 10,000 years couldn't.
Yeah. I don't want to use this as like a way to like sweep what could be a role for Luke under the rug.
I agree. I mean, I want Luke in the movie just as much as you, but based on some of the shit we've heard from Hamill and what that may be stemming from, you know, he's come out and said as recent as last week, like, you know what, Star Wars, I'm over it. The old cast is gone. Fisher's gone. Fuck it.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, there's definitely a part of me that wants him to come back just because I really do want to see him in a proper mentorship role, because I think that, you know, in my mind, I don't want to say Luke deserves something like that because of all he's been through in both, you know, in both of his trilogies or both of his sets of movies thus far. But I really would like to see him trying to right his wrongs and foster a budding Jedi or a budding, you know, young light force user correctly.
I think I know what you said there, because technically Luke did right his wrongs with his act in Episode 8, but he did not directly right his wrongs with Rey.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean,
I think that's what you were trying to say.
Exactly. Like, you know,
like he did redeem himself as a whole in the end, because he allowed the Resistance to escape, and he also injected the galaxy with a shot of ripped fuel.
Yeah, exactly.
Of like, listen, fuck these motherfuckers. Yes, the legend of Luke is real. He just did another crazy-ass motherfucking stunt. All hail Luke.
But it's particularly...
But he did, and I agree with you on that, he fundamentally let Rey down 100%.
Yeah, so... To me,
he treated her like garbage.
Yeah, he treated her like shit. Never, I mean, other than Rey hearing about what happened from secondhand sources in Leia and, you know, Finn, Poe, others that were there. I mean, she was just like, you know, this guy treated me like shit from the moment that I got on the island and never helped me in any way. Like, you know, he may have said some words to me, but from my experience,
he did teach her, but he did not give her what she wanted or what a lot of us wanted.
Yeah. So I would have definitely liked
He did indirectly impart a lot of knowledge onto her. I mean, she's definitely learned something on her time on Acto. No doubt.
Yeah. I mean, her force.
I mean, she kicked his ass
furthered.
at the end. I mean,
yeah.
She proved she's a badass.
Yeah. I mean, she furthered her force abilities, and she was able to harness. You know,
Rey fucking owns. I mean, think about Rey is an Anakin motherfucking Skywalker.
Yeah, I mean,
I said it. I said it.
The way that Anakin probably should have been portrayed, more of a strong.
Watch the Clone Wars, people. I'm almost through season 4, and Jesus, mother effing force, is that just the best prequel era content around? I mean, come on. Bring it. I honestly challenge people to argue with me that the Clone Wars is not value add to the Star Wars lore.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, you've got to be kidding me. I just watched a fantastic 4-episode arc where Anakin got hosed by the Jedi Council, and you could tell it fucking burned his ass.
Oh, yeah.
And he deserved to be angry. And I was like, yeah, motherfucker, fuck them. Now I know why you would fucking turn on their asses. Not because of the bullshit I was shown fucking 1, 2, 3.
I mean, even going deeper into the series when there's the entire trial around Ahsoka's supposed betrayal
my God, bro, this
council.
This arc, I don't know if you remember it. It's the one where they're essentially leading up to, hey, you know, there's a plot against Palpatine. So Obi-Wan fakes his death.
Yep, he pretends to be
reforms his face as this bounty hunter.
Yep.
He gets in leagues with Cad Bane, and he ultimately ends up working for Dooku and yada 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 yada
yep.
Whatever. So, you know, Anakin's devastated because he thinks his master got wiped out, and all he wants to do is, you know, obviously it's Anakin. He wants to fucking kill some motherfuckers. But the Jedi, and Kenobi included, they're like, we can't let him know because he'll fuck it up because of his emotions. And, you know, it's Anakin. He's crazy. He's a pimp, but he's nuts.
Yeah.
So they literally fucking pull this con on him. And, of course, Anakin goes out and tries to help shit and kill the bounty hunter, who, by the way, is Obi-Wan at this point.
Yeah.
So he finds him and fucks up the plot and learns that he was betrayed, Yoda admits, like, yeah, Anakin, we fucking lied to you, and that was probably the wrong thing, and yada, yada, yada. And eventually it all works out, but there's this exchange at the end between Obi and Anakin, like, Obi literally tries to just gloss over it, like, hey, man, I'm very sorry, but hopefully you understand this. And Anakin, you can just see the fucking anger in him, like, man, that's fucked up. He's like, you guys literally can't even trust me with this shit.
Yeah.
All that I've done, and you can't trust me with this? You're going to fuck with me over this?
Yeah, and it's...
And you can just tell that there it is. Those are the fucking wedges we need to see between him and the Jedi. Not just fucking, I'm coming here to arrest the guy, and all of a sudden, fuck you, Mace, you're dead.
Yeah.
What the fuck are you talking about?
None of what we've seen in the Clone Wars was ever reflected in those movies. And yes, of course, I know it was made after the movies, but I mean, my point is that with a character like Anakin, his importance to the universe, there should be consistency between how he's portrayed in the cartoons and how he's portrayed in the movies. And I put that completely on George, because it seems like
he did both. And I really think at this point he used the Clone Wars to fix the errors of the fucking movies. It's so evident.
Yeah. And I mean,
yeah, Filoni was a driving force, but George in the end in Clone Wars, man, I mean, his stamp was all over this shit.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. I mean, the first name that pops up in the credits when you're watching the Clone Wars when an episode ends is George Lucas. It's not Dave Filoni. So, I mean...
And that's why I love the guy, because you can tell he knew. I mean, the stories in the Clone Wars, I mean, man, yeah, maybe the movie they used to kick it off wasn't fucking aces. It's not that bad. But the shows from season 1 all the way through are fantastic.
Yeah, they're absolutely great tales that really tie together that entire prequel era. And I mean, I'm tempted to say that, like, if you just want to forego the 3 movies, it's probably better just to watch the Clone Wars.
Oh, without a doubt, because in the end, it establishes what's important, and that's the relationship between Anakin and Obi as Jedi Master and Jedi Knight, not instructor and Padawan, right?
Yeah, and it also
essentially equals. They're both generals in this war.
Yeah, I mean,
but also Anakin and Padme. I mean, there's so many stories just between those two, or her and her own.
Yeah.
I mean, you get so much more of a character in Padme. Fucking Jar Jar is goddamn redeemable in these goddamn cartoons.
And I think, like, what another important character that a lot of people don't even know exists if you don't watch the Clone Wars is Ahsoka, and Ahsoka's relationship with Anakin and how that affects him as a Jedi, how it helps his growth, and then also how her departure, the way that it happened, and the way that, that affected Anakin.
It was another wedge between him and the Jedi Order.
Yeah,
because again, and you gotta remember, at this time he's still wanting to be a master. He's like, what else do I have to do to be master?
Yeah,
he's like, I've essentially taken on battalions of separatists by myself. Why am I not master? And that's the only very minuscule argument we got in Revenge of the Sith of Anakin's beef with the Council, right? Was that, like, why am I not master? Why am I not master? Oh, by the way, Palpatine just made me master. So that's resolved. And then all of a sudden he has enough hate for the Jedi to fucking kill Mace. And, oh, by the way, slaughter a bunch of fucking kids.
Yeah, exactly. Like, the hatred, his hatred of the Jedi is never fully explained.
Out of here, episode 3.
Films. I mean,
Revenge of the Sith. Fuck you.
So yeah, I mean, just watching that series in its entirety and getting a real idea of who Anakin Skywalker is as a character is essential to your understanding of Darth Vader as a true villain.
And if you are, and I can understand, I get some of you. Like, if you were trying to get into Clone Wars back in, 07, 08, I think 08 when it came out, you might have still been like I was back then, like very disenfranchised with Star Wars and upset over what happened in the prequels. And you might have taken that out on the Clone Wars and just be like, what, this is what we're going to get? After that shit, this is what they're going to give us, cartoons? I'm telling you, get over it, watch it. If you're older now, calm down, soak it in, just roll with it, right? It's on Netflix. I guarantee you probably have Netflix at this point in time.
Yeah.
Netflix is making more money than everybody in the fucking VOD business right now. So I guarantee you have it. Just fire them up. It's not going to cost you a dime.
Yeah, I mean, it's worth it. Like Matt said, 6 seasons of excellently made television, animated television, and the movie's on there too, the kickoff movie. You know, I wouldn't go into that expecting like a feature-length, actual live-action Star Wars.
You have to watch
thing.
it though. I mean, you have to start with it.
It's the introduction to the world, and not only the introduction to the world, but an introduction to the characters.
Ahsoka and Anakin.
Yeah.
Like that's the key part. Like, yeah, we know the Obi Anakin, but again, we're seeing them as technically equals, right? I mean, Obi's a master, but
that's the thing. Like, that's
but
important.
Anakin's a knight. Like, Anakin doesn't report to Obi anymore.
No,
that's what I'm saying. Like, Anakin's his own man.
Yeah, I mean, I think that's the important thing to realize and really grasp from this series is that when you're watching it, the relationship between Obi-Wan and Anakin is almost one that's unlike any other relationship between a former Padawan and
brotherly.
a master.
They're brothers.
Yes.
They act like brothers.
Yeah,
I mean, it's not a father-son. It's a brother.
Yeah, I mean, that line at the end of Sith when Obi says, "You were my brother," I mean, this is where you see it. This is where you really see it,
exactly.
is in the cartoon series.
Because you can tell, I mean, at times Obi-Wan just wants to go, damn it, Anakin. But he still respects him for what he can do. And he trusts him. He's like, okay, this is not really the Jedi way, but fuck it, Anakin will pull it off.
Yeah, exactly. Like, he has a lot of faith in this kid.
Or, Anakin just saved me. Or, fuck, Obi-Wan just saved Anakin. I mean, you see all that shit. You get to see this depression that you see on Alec Guinness's face in A New Hope when he's talking to Luke about Anakin, his dad, and the Clone Wars, and the greatest pilot. You can see him reflecting on those times like, fuck, man, I love that guy.
Yeah. And it's
I love that guy, and what the fuck did I do? Well, how did I fuck this up?
Go watch it, people. It's going to be available on Netflix for the time being, and then...
Yeah, until Disney starts up their own deal, and we got to pay more money for that shit.
Yeah, I mean, I'm just hoping that when that happens, if, once the transition is fully made, that they don't, abandon the Clone Wars. I want to make sure that is forever preserved on their VOD system.
If you can find it, buy the UK Blu-ray set. You can get it for about $70. It's well worth it.
Yeah,
it works. It'll play on your American Blu-ray players. You need it on disc. I'm buying Rebels on disc too. I mean, there's no doubt.
Definitely. Okay. So,
all right, dude. So let's get into Solo, and let's just kind of start with the brief things that were brought up. Empire this week released I think it came out their Solo issue. So comic book movie. Kind of broke it down and highlighted some of the more important things from the articles. And, Nick and I are going to touch on a few of them. And the first is, I don't know, maybe troubling, but we kind of know definitively now where we're going to meet Han at the beginning of the movie.
Yeah. So we know that we're going to be seeing Han on Corellia. That's where we're going to see him first. But we've also found out that we're going to be seeing him fresh out of the Imperial Academy. So essentially, he's going to drop out of the Imperial Academy, and he will be already linked up with Kira on the surface of Corellia after his escape, whatever, his defection from the Imperial Navy.
So things of note there. That implies that he's not going to be incarcerated for being disloyal to the Empire, which would go along with legend canon.
And it also implies that there will not be a breakout plot with him saving Chewbacca from servitude or anything like that. He's just going to say, the Empire's not for me, fuck it, I'm going to drop out and just hit the streets of Corellia.
Yeah, and be a thug, a fucking scoundrel.
Yeah, so that essentially shoots in the head one of the things that me and Matt both wanted to see from this film, and that was what brings about this life debt with Chewbacca. We were really and
it can still be redeemed, but this is kind of throwing a little bit of a wrench into things.
Absolutely. I mean, like you've been saying in previous casts, I mean, this is the only kind of canon or story that we've ever known behind the meeting and the life that between these two.
And again, we have no clue. It could still play out this way. I mean, there's indications in some of the trailers that if some of the fucking action figures, we've seen bolts on their fucking legs.
Yeah, exactly.
So it's just curious to me that we're going to open up with the action on Corellia, and it's going to be after Han's Imperial days. But something we did get interesting, again, this is just a theory on the part of the Empire magazine staff, is that apparently Han gets his Solo surname from the Navy.
Yeah, so he goes in to the Navy as an orphan, and apparently either somebody, comments on him or like officially gives him the name, the surname, the last name of Solo, but his real name is not Han Solo. I can see that. Like, that
would make sense because, he's probably going to be like a loner type of guy, so just probably going to call him fucking Han Solo.
Yeah. Always hanging solo. Something like that. Like
Solo.
It's probably going to be a dumb, cheesy-ass name or a cheesy-ass way to get it, to be completely honest with you, unless they just, like, dole it out
Nick's
to him.
ready to hate this movie, I can tell. He's ready.
No. I mean, I'm trying to figure out ways that they could give it to him. Like, if it's not in some sort of, like, official military fashion where, like, Han.
No, you're 100% right. It's going to be cheap.
Yeah, it's going to be like, there's fucking sitting in the barracks and he doesn't want to hang out with the other fucking Imperial
right, or
heads.
I don't know. I kind of like what you were proposing. We're like, yo, who's Han? What the fuck's your name? He's just like, Solo.
Yeah, I mean,
like that would be cool.
Yeah. I think, something like that. It's not going to be like this profound.
Because like he feels like he obviously as an orphan, he's always felt alone. So he's just like, hey, I'm fucking Solo.
Yeah. So it's not going to be like a fucking profound revelation as to where this name comes from. It's going to be something that's related to either, his childhood, like Matt was saying, him being an orphan, him being all, on his own most of his life, or it's going to be one of the things that these fucking Imperial knuckleheads give him when he's hanging out in the barracks or, still within the ranks of the Navy. So I'm definitely interested to see how this all plays out, though, because we were kind of discussing in earlier casts, how much time we were going to get on Corellia, how much time we were going to see with him in the Imperial Navy. Now it seems like you said, Matt, that time is probably going to be very quick. Probably within the first 10-15 minutes, he's gonna be out of the Navy. And
I think or at least I've always kind of hinted that the Corellia is gonna be Act 1 shit for sure.
Oh yeah, definitely well before Act 1.
But the way I was thinking was he does that land speeder chase and then ends up in the Empire versus he's out of the Empire and is in the chase.
Yeah, like he was.
That's kind of how I had the timeline in my head, at least.
Yeah, I mean, it would have been kind of cool to see him do something like that, have the land speeder chase, and then.
Right. Here's what I was thinking: like he gets caught eventually, and they give him an ultimatum. You're fucking jail or join up.
Yeah, exactly. That would have been a really cool way to see it. But doesn't look like it's going to play out that way.
No, not at all.
So. It's going to be cool, nonetheless, to see how his time as an Imperial goes. But like I said, it kind of gives the nix to the...
Yeah, I hope he does something just fucking crazy.
Yeah, like he's got
either jacks a TIE fighter and just goes on a joyride, or I want to see him... I want to see Han Solo piloting an Imperial craft.
That would be fucking...
That's not a Imperial shuttle, because yes, we saw him do that.
Yeah, that would be fucking fantastic. I mean, that's the first
I want Han
thing...
in a TIE fighter. Fuck it, I'm just committing to that.
Yeah.
I want him in a TIE fighter.
That would be... I mean, could you imagine if it was something... I mean, this would never happen because he'd be killed. But like if for some reason Vader was on Corellia, and then he like jacks Vader's special TIE, goes for a joyride, and brings. But I mean, like they would execute him.
He takes the TIE Advanced.
Yeah, they would execute him on sight. But I mean, some shit like that would be fun though. Because
I mean, shit, he would get 10 feet in the air, and Vader would just suck the whole thing down and crush it into a can.
Yeah. But I mean, you're right, because the first thing that we hear from this, I mean, like in the trailers, in the initial trailers for Solo, is that one of the first things we hear from is, "I want to be a pilot," So having
Right.
something like that happen while he's still within the ranks of the Imperial Navy would be pretty fucking cool. So I think that's a good call.
So the other big thing that they kind of skimmed from this piece in Empire, and this one is slightly more concerning to me, and it's the fact that Han and Chewie's relationship in the movie is now being described as a love story. So if you need that explained to you, that's essentially like, I mean, two people meet, they're kind of they have like a contentious relationship at first, and then they get closer, and then they think they kind of like each other, and then something big happens and they break apart, and then something big happens again and it brings them back together, right? I mean, that's the basic flow of every love story movie ever made.
Yeah, exactly. So
that concerns me, man, because they even write it in here, and this is coming from Kasdan himself, who wrote the fucking movie. And he just basically says, just this word in particular, obviously, they don't automatically trust each other and become friends, but that's all the meat of a good story. Well, according to legend, they are automatically in life debt to each other on Chewie's behalf, because Han saves his life or saves his family or everything.
Yeah, exactly. Like, it was never one
So
of these
that
type
concerns me. Obviously they don't automatically trust it. Well, what do you mean? Like, wait, these guys just running into each other on the fucking street at this point?
Yeah, I mean, we know that they're putting together a crew. Like, we'll get to that a little bit later in the TV spot that comes up.
Please don't just say, there's no way. Even from the trailers, there's no way. These two are coming together as the crew. There's no way these are, like, introduced separately.
I don't know, man.
No,
I'm hoping that you're
don't
right.
even say it. Don't even say it.
I'm hoping that you're right, dude. But I mean, by the way that he's saying it, I mean, what's the other meeting point? I mean, is it, like you said, is it just like a random meeting in a bar?
Yeah, exactly. I don't know. Well, we saw it on the new crew trailer, which we're going to talk about next. So, yeah, it is. They're meeting in an outdoor area somewhere. But please don't say it's because they're both trying to make the same job.
Yeah. I mean, that's the biggest thing.
There's no way. I cannot buy that. I mean, this is one legend tale that I think needs to stick to as close as possible to legend.
Yeah. I mean, we have to get to the point. I mean, here's the things that we have to hit on. We have to hit on a lifetime bond between these two. I'm not talking about a life debt just yet, but just the relationship between these two characters, as we've seen throughout the original trilogy and into the new trilogy, the sequel trilogy, is one of complete and utter,
loyalty,
bonded.
dedication.
Yes.
I mean, they're essentially husband and husband.
Yeah. So,
I mean, look at the pain on Chewie's face.
yeah, I mean,
when Han dies.
that is, I mean, obviously the love and the bond can grow over time, but like you were saying, man, the relationship that these two have always been portrayed as being in is something that was way
What
deeper
other
than just the
scoundrels
passing.
in this galaxy just buddied up and stuck together for 20, 30, 40 years, 50 years?
Exactly. It's outside of the character of...
It doesn't happen.
Yeah.
I mean, these types of characters in this galaxy are all loners. Yes, they'll team up to profit more for themselves, but they don't fucking live together. I mean, these guys never separated. I mean, maybe... I haven't read a lot of the books that took place after Jedi now that are canon, in terms of Han and Leia's relationship and what Chewie might have been up to. I do believe they kind of split up for a bit, but fuck, look what ends up happening.
Yeah.
I mean, Han ends up leaving his fucking his baby's mama and to go hang out with Chewie again anyways.
Yeah. So we need that type of bond. And then also,
obviously they don't automatically. Oh,
Yeah.
fuck.
And then also we need the life. The biggest part is we need the life debt. I mean, the life debt has never been, if you want to take it into, into movie canon, it's never been officially mentioned in movie canon. Obvious, like it's not in there. But it's
no. But again,
that's
why is
always
this?
been
Why
known.
is this 300-400-year-old walking carpet, in the words of Princess Leia, following this humanoid around for his entire life and abandoning his people, the chance to have his own family. I mean, what are we talking about?
Yeah, I mean, it's not something
obviously this creature made a concentrated or a dedicated decision that I'm sticking with this man until he dies or I die.
Yeah, and I mean, it's not like Chewbacca was a nobody. It's not like he was some sort of destitute Wookiee that was thrown to the side. I mean,
he was fighting the goddamn separatists in fucking episode 3, motherfuckers.
Exactly. Like, he was one of the high-ranking Wookiee military leaders from that time period. And I mean, we know what happens to most of the Wookiees, and we know that the Empire ends up taking over a majority of the galaxy, which, scatters the remaining Wookiees.
And by the way, he was probably around for 80 years before that.
Yeah. So it's like this guy, for Chewie to dedicate his life, like you were saying, to this human man, something needs to happen. And I swear, like we said the first time, dude, like when we were watching that story trailer, when he pulls it, like when we see Chewie about to hit that rock, and then Han obviously pulls him back in, like if that's the moment, holy fuck.
Yeah, fuck it.
Like
fuck it.
that is like a slap in the face, man. Like
that's where we'll get on here, and I'll start talking like you were talking about The Last Jedi. That's what it's gonna take. That's what it'll take.
Yeah, I mean, we need a serious moment. If they're not gonna have the freed from enslavement kind of deal, we need a life-altering thing, not a...
I think the only glimmer of hope we now have after this, obviously they don't automatically trust each other statement, is the fact that we see Chewie with another Wookiee in the trailers.
Yeah, so...
That could potentially offer up, like, there's going to be some sort of sacrifice or saving on the part of Han that saves whoever that Wookiee is for Chewie.
Yeah, I mean, that's our
I could
hope.
somewhat tolerate that if that's how it ends up.
Yeah, I would take that over like some random act of...
Yeah, but I still question why they even fuck with the legend. Honestly, like what's the point? Like what are you trying to serve in your story? Like why can't you just make it Han frees him from some sort of destitute situation, or Han, clearly saves his family members.
Yeah, it's a fucking mystery to me why they would take out...
Oh, wow. Yeah, hopefully that's not the case, but that's a pretty strong statement when he's just throwing it out like, duh, you guys are so stupid. How could you even ask me?
Yeah, it's like, calm down,
you know what
Larry.
I mean?
Like,
I mean, that's a direct quote, right? I'm not really... Obviously, they don't... what do you mean, obviously, they don't automatically trust each other? What, the first time they see each other in chains? Okay.
Yeah, I mean, what is... Like, how long does this lack of trust
extend? What are we
extend?
talking about?
Yeah, I mean, here's what I'm thinking now. I mean, like, this is worst-case scenario here, I feel like, for both of us. But, like, I think we've gotten to the point to where we're almost pretty sure that there's going to be multiple jobs in this. There's going to be like a job in the beginning and a job at the end. They're going to be separated by some time. I hope so. So I'm almost afraid that like we're going to have the job in the beginning is where, these two where Han and Chewie are first going to meet and link up, and then maybe after that job they just go their separate ways, and then when it's time to do the second job, they all come back together. Chewie comes back into the fold, and then the life debt hits right towards the end of the movie. And so you'll have that period of time where, like, post first job and even, like, throughout the entirety of the first job, like, the relationship between Han and Chewie is just going to be one of literal working companions, like,
I don't know. I mean, the way, like, even he negotiates a deal with Beckett on Vandor, I mean, he does it through Chewie, essentially.
Yeah.
Remember? I mean...
Yeah, they're both there, yeah.
Chewie's like, blah, 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 and Beckett looks at Han like, what the fuck? And Han's like, yeah, we're in.
Yeah.
So they're already buddies by then, or they're already working together at that point.
Yeah.
Because I'm still going on my belief is that the Vandor is the play-in mission.
Yeah, and then the snow planet mission is the last one.
No, the snow planet is Vandor.
Well, no, I thought
with the train, like the train sequence.
I got the snow and the ice scene mixed up. I flipped them. Yeah, never mind. Okay.
I have no. I mean, really, it's been with each of these new spots. I still can't get a handle on the timeline of the plot here and what the fuck's going on where, especially with some of the shit we got from the beach scenes. Now I'm like, what the fuck? I mean,
yeah,
we know we see the Falcon that flies down on it, but then it seems like that's the first time Han and Beckett are talking about even working together, and then they walk towards the tent where we know he's going to square off against Enfys Nest. I'm just like, what the fuck?
Yeah, they're doing a really good job of obscuring this timeline.
Oh yeah, there's no doubt about it.
So, but yeah, the rest of the Empire article, I mean, they hit on a lot of various things, but I mean, for the most part, it's a lot of stuff that we've already heard. Just talking to the actors about, you know, how it was having Ron come on with.
Yeah, exactly. Like I mean, there wasn't a lot of great stuff outside of what we've talked about.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. So I mean,
let's go into we got 2 new TV spots this week as well. The first one was titled Crew. The other one was titled Risk. We're not going to do our typical shot-for-shot breakdown. You can catch that on entertainmentbuddha.com or on youtube.com/entertainmentbuddha. Just check the trailer breakdown playlist. You can get both of those. We're just going to kind of talk about the trailers. I did still galleries for them. We can kind of look at some of the new stills and just, you know, talk about what we think's going on. So, Nick, the first, I'm going to start with the Crew stuff, which was the first one we got last Sunday.
Yeah.
And this trailer was really heavy on kind of Han and Chewie. I mean, it was almost the predominant focus. And one of the early shots we got that I thought was pretty interesting was of Han and Chewie. They're on like this outdoor walkway, possibly. Maybe it's a ship, maybe it's a bridge. I don't know. It looks like it's in a cold place. Chewie doesn't have his bandolier on. But Han essentially looks at him, says, "So what is your name anyways?" Right?
Yep.
So this is the first formal introduction between Han and Chewbacca.
Yeah, and this is where it gets real squirrely for us already.
Yeah, it's like, what's going on here? Like, where are they? I mean, it doesn't look like they're locked up. I mean,
no, I mean, we're like you said. I mean, this is a cold-looking planet. Han's wrapped up in a blanket. I mean, I don't want to jump and assume that they're on Vandor already, but it's
the
very
tone
possible.
The tone of the scenery is pretty damn close to the Vandor tone we've been seeing.
Yeah, I mean, if you look in the background and kind of look at the clouds, it still has that, you know, dark kind of, you know, almost constantly overcast kind of look to it. You can't really see too much environment, but you might be able to see like a little bit of a snow-capped mountain over Chewie's left shoulder.
Yeah.
But if this is, I mean, like we were saying, I mean, if we're on Vandor already, and this is literally the first introduction to Chewbacca, or, you know, of Han to Chewie, you know, there goes your...
Here's the only redeeming thing I can think, though. The way that Alden asked Chewie, like, "So what is your name anyways?" It almost implies that they might have just gone through something together.
Yeah.
It was just kind of that real quick, like, "Yo, me and you, let's fucking do it."
Yeah, I mean...
You know, like maybe an escape or something like that. But it feels like they had just done something fairly big, and now they're kind of chilling, and now is when they're going to be like, "Yo, so what's your name anyway?"
Yeah. I mean, like you said, Chewie does not have his bandolier on, which is like a permanent part of his repertoire. And
I mean, he's essentially nude.
Yeah, and then Han is wrapped up in what is pretty much like a security blanket. Like if
it looks like a medical blanket.
Yeah, so he's kind of. It does seem like they're coming out of some sort of traumatic situation. They
just got through some shit together, and they probably did it out of necessity versus we're buds, let's save each other.
Yeah, so I mean, maybe right before this is when the fucking life debt happens. Like, maybe whatever the fuck they went through is when Chewie or Han saves them or something like that. Or it could be, I mean, who knows? It could be later. But, you know, when, like you said, when we meet that other the other Wookiee that we saw in the previous trailer. But it is interesting that they're meeting their first official, like, my name is Han Solo and my name's Chewbacca. It's happening.
They're not like locked up. They seem to be both free of bondage.
Yeah, is happening on what looks like Vandor.
But it could potentially be taking place after some sort of harrowing event.
Yeah.
That they took part in together to kind of get each other out of a pickle.
Yeah. Then we get, it goes on more to.
Right. I think the only other really there's not a fantastic shots to talk about. I mean, I do think we got our first shot of Warwick Davis's cameo here.
Yeah, right at the end.
He appears to be part of Enfys Nest gang. He's shooting a bazooka.
Yep.
Really, the best part of the trailer was the end, where I think this is the first time where this could be the how we say this again? Is it Sabik?
I think it's Sabik, right?
Okay, Sabik, whatever. The match between Lando and Han, where it looks like Han goes all in, Lando lays his hand down, and then Han looks at his hand and then shows it to Chewie, and Chewie just perfectly reacts like, "You're fucked, asshole."
Yeah, like, oh my god.
Like, yeah, fuck you. You just blew whatever we owned.
Yep, there goes all that. That was a cool scene, though. Yeah, that's one of those scenes, me and Matt were talking off cast about, like, how we're feeling about everybody's, portrayal of the characters and stuff. And
I think Chewbacca is going to be the standout in this movie. I honestly think he's going to be probably the best character.
Yeah. And, at this point, the guy who's playing Chewbacca, Joonas Suetamu, this is his third go at it. I mean, Peter Mayhew played some of Chewbacca in Episode 7, more of the stationary scenes, because obviously a man of his age can't get around like he used to.
I mean, his bones have just basically degenerated to nothing.
Yeah, so, he was there on set playing Chewbacca in the scenes that he could to really pass the torch to this Joonas guy. And then Joonas took over completely in Episode 8, and now he's again filling in the Chewbacca suit for Solo. So he's really kind of got a hold on this character. Like, he's comfortable in the suit and really portraying Chewbacca as, as we've come to know him in the new trilogy, and then also, filling in this, I guess it would be not really a prequel movie, but, going back to the original trilogy timeline, playing Chewbacca there. So he's got a firm grasp on Chewie. I'm liking what I'm seeing from Donald Glover as Lando. I know, Matt, you think that he may be going a little overboard.
I mean, that's a good transition into the next trailer, because the Risk trailer, the second one that came out, did focus more on, all right, well, yeah, Beckett's forming this gang to go take on this job that Dryden Voss has, but the risk is huge. I mean, the whole theme in this trailer is, hey, Han, man, if you join up with me, man, your life is fundamentally going to change.
Yeah, it's never.
You're going to be getting into some shit that just people don't get away from.
Yeah, like, you're never going to be able to do small smuggling jobs anymore. If that's what you're trying to do, is just, get by, stay under the radar and do these small jobs just to keep yourself afloat, that's out the window after you do this for me.
So real, just sticking with what Nick was going with before we dive deeper in the Risk trailer, the whole Lando thing, because this trailer did show, and it confirmed kind of what I speculated back when we saw the plot trailer, that Kira's going to be the one that says, all right, yo, I know a pilot with a fucking pimp ship. I'm going to go get him for this job. And it looks like she does go with Han and Chewie. They go to this cantina type of place. And this is where, you get a great line from Glover. He's like, hey, man. He doesn't say, hey, babe, but that's what it sounds like. He's like, hey, man, who's harrying the kid?
Yeah.
I mean, he's like that, right? He's all Colt 45 with it.
Man, it's just, you're right. I mean, he might be playing it up a little too much, but I really do think that, like, if we go back in time and, like, Billy D was able to play this version of Lando.
Probably, because I'll give you the benefit of the doubt. I mean, the Lando we meet in Empire is a much more tamed, toned down, business-like somewhat on the up and up Lando.
Oh yeah, I mean that's that's what
he's not.
said.
He's definitely not as pimp. I mean, yeah, he's still got that badass cape and the fucking blue bell bottoms, but he's not as like, hey babe, what's up? Like that. Like, hey, yeah, what's going on, girl?
Yeah, I mean, even that's what Han said kind of right when they met again. It's like, look at you, a proper businessman now, and
right.
Billy
instead of a pimp.
Yeah, and we're really seeing the pimp style. I
mean, the motherfucker's wearing a scarf in a gunfight.
I know, like that's what I love about it, man. It's just like that is what I imagine Lando would be, just so full of himself, so like he is the
he's
definition.
debonair as fuck.
Yeah,
he's debonair. It's not cocky. Han's cocky. Lando's debonair.
Yeah, it's so natural on him too. Like it doesn't feel like he's forcing it.
Yeah,
it's just like
he is a fucking pimp.
Yeah. So I'm really into the way that he's portraying Lando so far. And yeah, man, I'm really looking forward to it. I don't know. I don't feel like. Did you get any new impressions for Alden as Han off of these two trailers?
Dude, I know when I watched Crew, I initially sent you a message like, you know what, I think he kind of came off all right in that one.
Yeah.
And I do feel a bit better after watching these two TV spots versus the plot trailer.
Yeah. I mean, this is where we're getting a little bit more, we're getting a little bit more context to. I mean,
in the Rich trailer, he nails the Han Solo blaster pose.
Yeah.
I mean, fucking nails it.
When Lando
throws him the pistol.
Yeah.
I mean, he goes right into the fucking. That is the exact A New Hope Han. One hand forward, one hand back, blaster pose.
Yeah. So
obviously by design, but he nails it.
Yeah, I feel like spots like that where it's really hitting the mannerisms, like the poses, the physical attributes, the traits, some of the movements of Han. He'll probably be able to hit that.
And they came out again. They doubled down last week and this week. Like, listen, this was never meant to be a Harrison Ford impression.
Yeah, that was something that was in the Empire
Get
article.
over it.
Yeah,
it's like, get over it.
Like, Harrison knows that nobody can play Han like he does. And
that's what he told him. I mean, they had a meeting, too, and he basically said, hey, kid, if they ask you, would I tell you? And just be like, he told me everything I needed to know.
Yeah, I mean...
But he didn't tell him anything.
I think one of the things that, if he did tell him anything... Something that Harrison probably would have told him, because it would be in typical Harrison fashion, would be
try to get them to kill you off.
No, it was probably something like, don't try to play it like me because you can't. I mean, that's something that Harrison would tell him. Like, look, kid, you can't play Han like I played him. So play him your way. Because, Harrison knows that performance that he put forward for Han Solo was essentially just him playing himself. Like,
well, everything. I mean, even Hamill's came out and said, he's like, I mean, Solo's damned if it does, damned if it doesn't, really.
Yeah, it doesn't matter. Like,
I mean, there's going to be factions out there that are going to hate it just to hate it.
Oh, yeah.
They're going to hate it just because
it exists.
They think it's like aborting their version of Han in their own heads, just like people hated Jedi because it didn't. Well, I guess I have to TLJ because it didn't turn out the way they thought it would in their heads. And that's just Star Wars fandom these days.
Yeah.
And that's why I kind of hate that the prequels didn't come out during the social media era. Because I think a lot more people would fucking hate the living shit out of those than they do of this stuff now.
If the prequels came out during the social media era, I don't think we would have any more Star Wars.
I think a lot of people are getting... I think they forget that there probably wouldn't be any more fucking Star Wars.
Yeah.
Like, we wouldn't even be talking about shit, and we wouldn't even be doing Star Wars time.
No.
If it weren't for the Disney acquisition.
No, I mean, literally, we're on extra time here, people. Like, George, the creator.
Yeah, I mean, okay, yeah, he had a light outline for 7, 8, 9, but he had no concrete plans to do that shit.
No. I mean, who knows? We could speculate that after he was finished with the Clone Wars TV series run, that he might have gone back and done the sequel trilogy. Who knows? We never would have known.
I mean, he sold it. Disney didn't come in and fucking steal it from him.
Yeah.
He didn't have to sell it because he was poor. He fucking consciously sold it.
No, and I feel
that implies that he was done. He didn't want to make any more fucking stories.
Yeah, like no matter what he says now after seeing the movies play out and everything like that, he had no intention.
Well, yeah, if your baby made $1 billion, you'd want it back too.
Yeah, exactly. Like, and here's the thing: is like, you know, now that he's seeing the rest of the story play out, be realized the way that he wasn't planning to do it, he has that regret because he's like, oh, now that I'm seeing it made, I know what I would have done, and I would have done it this way. So even though he had no intentions of probably following through on 7, 8, and 9, what's happening is like he's just
of
going
course.
back
I mean,
and
come on. I mean,
he's
the fucking maker. Of course, he's going to be sitting there like, shit. Well, I wouldn't have done that, or okay, I like that, or nah, that sucked, or okay, nah, definitely not the way I would have went.
Yeah.
I mean, of course he's doing that as he watches all these movies.
Yeah. I mean,
the only ones he can't really do it on are the standalones because whatever. I mean, those are just borrowing pieces. Well, in this case, a character of his, and in Rogue One, a one sentence of his.
Yeah. So you're building off of something that
right, but the Skywalker
intended.
stuff, I mean, obviously that is life, and that is Star Wars, and that is his creation. So of course he's sitting here going like, "Wow, okay, that was good, that was bad, fuck, shit, fuck. Okay, I'm gonna go count my billions."
Yeah, exactly. So overall impressions of these two trailers.
Well, the other, I think on the Risk trailer, I do believe now we know who Dryden Voss is fighting, and I'm pretty sure it's fucking Han.
Oh,
Because
yeah,
when we watched the plot trailer, we're like, well, dude lights up these like crazy ass Praetorian Guard lightsaber coated brass knuckles, and it looks like he's just punching the shit out of his quarters.
Yeah, you can.
But I actually caught when I broke down the trailer. I mean,
it is Han.
I think that's fucking Han.
Yeah, I mean, you can.
Yeah.
If you pause it, like, it's 32 seconds in the trailer is where it happens, and if you pause it at just the right time, you get Paul Bettany completely pulled back with his little sabers, like you were talking about, and you see who can only be Han right in front of him, ducking out the way. So, like...
Right, so at some point, Han probably fucks up their visit to Dryden's place.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean...
because they're... I mean, we now know that Beckett was there, Chewie's there, Kira's there, and Beckett's even like, yo, dude, you know, fuck these people, they're not going to help you out. Yeah. And then all of a sudden, we got one of the biggest gangsters in the galaxy trying to chop his head off.
Yeah, I mean, literally Beckett says to him, these people are not your friends. Like...
Right, so who the fuck knows what Han said, but obviously he probably did something very Han-ish.
Yeah, and then I also like the last line in the trailer is Woody Harrelson saying, "What have we learned here?"
Like, yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
But we also got a clear shot, and this was confirmed in one of the teasers, but Beckett is also on the train heist on Vandor. And if you look at the shot I took, he's wearing these orange gloves, and I'm at this point 100% sure those are the same piloting gloves we see Han with in A New Hope.
Yeah, so...
Because, I mean, it's like that tan, very, very, very extremely, almost khaki-ish leather look that, I mean, those are Han's gloves.
Yeah, so it's probably likely that we're going to see Beckett go out in this flick.
I think that is a foregone conclusion. If anyone's going to call spoilers, fuck off.
Yeah, I mean, come on. That's pretty well known. So he's going to go out, but, I mean, obviously this is Han's mentor, his scoundrel mentor, the one that introduced him to the true, like, the deep side of the smuggling and scoundrel world, the underworld. So when he goes out, I'm sure that you know, if Han is there, he's going to show him reverence and do what he can to carry on his memory. Taking the gloves as well.
Yeah, I feel like that's going to be a pass off. And I know we've kind of wondered if that one shot is Beckett passing the blaster to Han or if it's Beckett inspecting Han's blaster. but that could also be kind of a hand-me-down from his mentor. But I don't know. There's a part of me that feels like that's just Han's blaster.
Yeah, he's like, that's kind of what I felt too, is like Beckett, the way that Beckett kind of tosses it back to him.
Well, he's fucking like smelling and licking it at first. Like he's literally almost inspecting it with his own little scoundrel senses.
Yeah, it's like, it's almost like he asks, I think this is what we said in the last one. It's like
hey kid, what are you packing? Are you gonna be able to fucking take care of yourself? And Han's like this, and he's like, all right, and throws it back to him.
And I almost think that like Han might say something like, relative, like trying to be like impressive with it. It's like giving specs on the gun or something like that, or really trying to talk it up. And then Beckett takes it and then does his little deal. And then like the way he tosses it back to him is almost like dismissive, like that'll do.
Right.
So, yeah, dude. I mean, there's a lot of fun shit in these trailers. I mean, again, we get the line like I have a good feeling about this. Clearly not what Han, as we knew him in the original trilogy, would ever say.
Well, yeah, and we've established this point. We're gonna see a very idealistic, cocky, brash Han, like a Han that is not guarded yet, or not playing his cards close to his vest like we meet him in A New Hope.
That was something that was also mentioned by Kasdan in the Empire article. We're gonna see how this hard exterior shell of Han gets formed in this movie, because that's what we kind of knew him as in the original trilogy. Is this hard exterior shell guy that we meet in episode 4.
But like a good gushy insides.
Yeah, exactly.
But I mean, we're gonna learn, like we're gonna see where Han gets that heart from, but we're also gonna see why he is kind of that brash motherfucker, the guy that's willing to bail on the rebels after he gets his payment.
Yeah. So we're gonna see all sides of it, which I think is pretty fucking cool. Yeah, dude, both really good spots. They're for one thing that I know for sure is that this movie is gonna be fun. I mean, just based off of the content of it, these two heists that are going to be going down. There's going to be a lot of action, a lot of fun moments, probably a lot of back and forth quips and nice fun little moments between the characters, since all of them are going to be so comfortable with each other at some point in the movie, especially between Han and Kira. I'm starting to feel pretty good about it. Like we were saying earlier, though, like this new situation with Chewie and how they're going to get to the life-death part of it is definitely concerning. But I think that at the very least, the movie is going to be fun to watch.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, we both shared our concerns about this, and I've gone back and forth, but at this point, I'm excited for it. I want to see where it goes. I'm expecting to be entertained. I'm not expecting to walk out going, Disney's ruining Star Wars.
Neanderthal club in hand.
Yeah. Blah, blah, blah. Women, Kathleen Kennedy, fucking females, feminazis. Yeah. I'm planning on having a good time May 24th.
Yeah.
Because I'm not waiting until the 25th.
I mean, come on, Thursday night. That's all the time.
I mean, anymore, it's like I don't even know why movies pretend that they come out on Fridays.
Yeah, it's not like it used to be that the Thursday night was legitimately like a sneak preview.
You do a fucking midnighter.
Yeah, like now.
I mean, you literally had to fucking show up and wait in line at a midnight. Now, I mean, they start as early as 6 p.m. on Thursday with reserved seats.
Yeah, I mean, now it's just easy. Just say the movie fucking comes out on the 24th. I mean, don't fool yourself. But yeah, I mean, the nights of midnight releases for films, or the times of midnight releases for films, is over, people.
Thank God, but I'll tell you what. And this just, honestly, at this point in time, it blows my mind. But I still see motherfuckers at my theater waiting in line to get tickets, or using kiosks to get tickets.
Yep.
And I'm just sitting there going, like, what in the fuck is going on here?
Oh, dude, for TFA, I mean, even though I did see like a 7:00 on Thursday for TFA, I was in line with my friends. Like, there were 4 four or five of us there, and like we were sitting in line, long ass line at the AMC. We had a fucking card game. We were sitting down playing on the ground.
Like, you didn't have tickets? You had to like actually buy tickets?
We had the tickets. We were just in line to get in the theater. Like,
no, I'm not talking about that. I mean, that's fine. You're just trying to, like, you didn't have reserved seats and you're just trying to get a good seat. I'm talking about motherfuckers that literally don't understand that
the internet.
You can actually buy shit online and not have to wait in lines.
Oh yeah, dude. At this
point in time, if I ran a movie theater, I would not have any humans working a ticket sale counter.
No, dude.
Like, you could only come to my theater if you've pre-bought your ticket.
I would have a kiosk technical person. That would be the only thing.
Yeah, I'd have a kiosk if you like needed to run a credit card through to or maybe even to accept cash.
Yeah.
But no fucking way I'm having someone buying and, selling tickets to people.
No, that's just unnecessary. I mean, I'm
also not having someone collect tickets. I'm having you, even if you come in with cash, you're going to get a ticket with a fucking barcode on it. You're going to scan the motherfucker.
Yeah, that would be the way to do it. I mean, even if you want to do it more high tech, you just have the scan be on the fucking door. And you need it to unlock it.
Yeah, you'd have like a turnstile thing.
Yeah, you just keep your ticket with you. If you got to take a piss, you just scan it to get back in, and there you go. Like,
right there. I just sold a fucking patented system for movie theaters that want to cut their overhead.
Yeah, there we go.
Done. Sign me up. Sign me up. Send me the check. All right, man. Well, I think we made it through what we need to talk about this week about Star Wars. We got some Episode 9 stuff. We got some Solo stuff. And honestly, from here until the last week of May, we'll probably be going heavy Solo unless we get splashes of Episode 9 news, which probably will be spread out until the summer once it actually starts principal photography. Then we'll start getting some more juicy details because, people will be snapping up leaked pictures, and we'll be getting this rumor and that rumor, and obviously a lot of fun stuff to talk about. So until then, may the Force be with you. We'll be talking with you next week. But always, seriously, keep that Force with you. Always.